how would you, in this season where people have lost their ability to gather in person,
Mm.
I've noticed a lot of people that are feeling spiritually discouraged in my own context, but still wanting to live on mission. So still wanting to be light and salt in the little ways. What sort of advice would you give them, or things that you're seeing are giving you hope and encouragement in this season?
Yeah. I, yeah, it is discouraging. I think yesterday my wife and I were sitting there in our living room, um, just sitting there going, when was the last time we actually had people over, like our neighbor over? And we lamented that because that's one of the ways that we engage our neighborhood is to invite our neighbors over and and stuff. And that's a loss. It's been hard not being able to do that. But then on the other hand, what I found is these beautiful conversations and relationships that have happened just um, as a result of this. So what happens is, at least in the summer, we haven't done it yet in the last little while. So my wife and I would just sit on the front of our townhouse complex. So we'd have two lawn chairs. We'd have an alcoholic beverage of some sort that we would enjoy in the middle of the day, and you'd be amazed at how many people come by, just walking by, talking, coming along, putting their chair outside, bringing their own beverage, just sharing stories. COVID's happening. Like there are so many ways of which we can still be very engaging in our neighborhood, to think missionally, and it's just the willingness to, to maybe step out a little bit. I do want to say one more thing. I said this a little while at another thing I spoke at, but I really feel more and more that COVID and a post-COVID world and how we do missions is actually, we as a church need to embrace the small more and more. That I do feel like North American church has always been defined as big worship presentation, audience, non-participation, big worship team, 10 people on there, all with skinny jeans, doing their thing. And I think more and more, there needs to be a realization that with COVID, with social distancing, with things, church actually is better defined. And we would all agree in our experience with small groups and quads and cohorts, church happens in smaller settings. There's prayer, there's community, there's accountability, there's sharing, there's meals. And I think more and more the church needs to get out of the big presentation worship service and then join a small group. It has to be groups and networks of cohorts and small groups that gather, that maybe once in a while would gather together for a big worship service. But I feel like being on mission, maybe in North America, and especially in a post-COVID world, the church needs to embrace the small more and more. I think that's a reality that we're facing. And so that's my encouragement to answer your question, Fred. Sorry about the long way around. What are ways of which you can embrace the small with a cohort? And it doesn't have to be something big. You can just say, hey, for 6 weeks, you 5 guys and I, we're going to ride our bikes, stop and pray. And we're going to pray through whatever. And we're going to do that. And we're going to do life and community. And then I want to pick another 5 guys and do it next time. I don't know what it is, but what are the ways of which we can be on mission, but in smaller, deliberate, intentional, spiritual, discipline, habit forming ways to really build and make disciples that make disciples, and so on and so on.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I think I would add for the church leaders that are watching this, that I think that's an opportunity for you to focus on equipping the people in your congregation to live that way.